Hi everyone, welcome to Hobby Hangout. Um, this week is epic. It's going to be epic anyway. We have massive 40k stuff happening, and it is all go over here at on Tabletop Studios. But it's okay because I've got Ben with me. Ben, how are you?
Hello. I am good, thank you. Yes.
Thank you
Very
very
good
much
indeed.
for joining me in this hobby hangout. We're going to be going
Indeed.
through the Waypan thread today, the what are you painting now? But
hmm
first I want to just talk about the 40k weekend, and if anyone wishes to participate in it next week, we're going to be going through, or overall through the weekend we're going to be looking through your projects. So if you wish to join us on the hobby weekend, I was going to say hobby hangout, the 40k weekend, there's so many things going around my head right now. But you can come across the ontabletop.com/projects. If you have an account already, feel free to sign in, create a project, right over here, add a project. Once you log in, which I have clearly not done, I can't do it right now because private projects appear. But you have a little drop down that comes up on the screen and asks you to put in the tag for the 40k weekend. If you've done so, we'll be able to have a look through the weekend and see all the projects that have been entitled in that category and see what you've been up to during the whole weekend as it progresses. And we'll be
Yep.
live streaming the entire weekend from Friday 5 p.m. and we'll be finishing at 10 p.m. Saturday we'll be starting at 12 p.m. and finishing at 10 p.m. And on Sunday we'll be starting at 12 p.m. finishing in at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Awesome.
Times may vary and shift, but it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of projects that are going through, and it's a relaxed weekend. Hopefully, although it is on tabletop, so it will not be relaxed. But we can do our best.
The important thing is to make sure you get those anything you're doing 40k related over the weekend into that tag. So this is a contest tag, so you should be able to see it on the main project page anyway, in part of that drop down menu. And you can see what people have already done. A lot of people have already been starting their projects and things like that already. But it just means that when me and Sam, who are going to be monitoring that over the weekend, want to find some cool stuff to share on social media and talk about in hobby hangouts and all kinds of things like that across the weekend, and we come in with some segments and that kind of thing, we've got some awesome stuff to look at. And
Yes,
we obviously want to see everything from the start all the way to what you get finished at in the end on Sunday, which will be very cool. So,
yes. Um, Also, another little announcement. Next week, we're going to be doing a hobby hangout. Ben will be avoiding us from the near distance, but he will be replaced by Chris from Battlefront, and we'll be looking at some of the Flames of War 15mm projects that are for this local league. And hopefully, we'll have John with us as well. So it'll be myself, John, and Chris. So I'll be directing the whole show, and the two people who know everything about Flames of War and the World War II will be there to talk about it. I'll be sitting there, essentially just steering the steering wheel, driving the car, driving the tank.
You can
As it
plan your
were.
shopping list while it's happening.
Yes, exactly. So they can discuss it all, and I will happily join in when I can. Going, that's a nice tank. That's a cool color scheme. I like that. So yes, but on with this show. This week we're looking at the What Are You Painting Now thread, starting off at page 138. If you want to join in with us, I have pasted the link in the Twitch chat, so feel free to come along. And if you want to join in as well, feel free to post any images into that thread as well, and we'll hopefully get to it. But first off, we're having a look at Dogma's brother Enbeg of the Death Strike.
Yeah, so this is an awesome old style dread, as you can see there from back in the day, which I thought was pretty awesome. It's really interesting. We'll look at this in a little bit more detail later for some more stuff by Dogma. But it's been great seeing him work on stuff that is 40k related, but from a time gone by. I'm fairly glad that I think the 41st millennium has progressed further, and the Imperium has progressed further than this kind of sort of potato-based dreadnought style that you see here, but because it's obviously was very cool at the time, but I think the new modern dreads are a lot better looking. I think. I'm sure that's heresy to some of you. But, yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool for it's an updated color scheme in an old model. We also have Milma, who's been working on his Chaos.
Yes.
Chaos Terminators, and I think this. I've talked about this plenty of times as well. I know I'm tooting again, but I think the backgrounds, white backgrounds on dark miniatures, does not work very well for photography. So just be aware of that. But I will bring this into. Can I even take this image? Chrome won't let me do it. Here we do. So we'll take this image and put it into Photoshop and we'll update the colors a little bit. Let's bring it in. See how it looks.
The thing I like about this, just as you're sort of tinkering away there, is I really like the way the bases have come together. Because Terminators themselves have got fairly large bases and they can look a little bit stark and empty if you don't do something with them. So I think building it up like he's done here, I think is a really good idea. Especially adding in sort of bits and rubble and that kind of thing, and of course skulls, because it's 40k, but very cool. Yeah.
Interesting. As I said before, contrasting backgrounds not great for miniature photography. It's always good to have like a kind of a mid-tone that works really well, and we'll see some good examples as well throughout this thread because I've seen other people use pretty good stuff. Next we have the Magothmog on. What is this?
So this is the guy that we're going to be looking at later in a different form. But this is, I can't remember his name now. I'm going to have to look it up because I've forgotten. But it's one of the special characters from the world of Infinity. Man, I can't remember his name. I'm going to have to look it up. One sec. But anyway, yeah, looking very, very cool. This is the on-foot version. There's a bike as well that you can get, that you can find him mounted on. But very awesome work on this paint job here. I really like the sort of muted colours that he's gone for. Which is very interesting, seeing that kind of thing done with Infinity models, because normally you're used to seeing big, bright, bold colours and everything to make it give that sort of like anime manga feel.
Yeah.
But I think this sort of gives a little bit more of a realistic tone, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, you can see it across all the skin tone work and everything like that as well.
It's very sci-fi Conan the Barbarian, I feel like.
It does look a lot like that. Very cool.
Some inspiration there, I guess. Pair of settlers for Fallout Wasteland Warfare. From Bill Vertis. I like the base. This looks like maybe some dip or the contrast stuff. Been working on this. Unfortunately, the hair here you can see is just like the paint's wearing off a little bit, but these look great. Definitely some cool looking adventurers for Fallout.
I think the interesting, the good thing there, I think, from those models is the fact that we've got like good solid block colours and they're neatly done as well. So it means that they're they're going to stand out on the tabletop. And so when you're looking at each of the characters individually, you're going to know who's who and what kind of thing with an easy glance. It was cool. So.
Yeah, I like that contrasting colours, like making sure that you know who's who. If you have them all the same, then it's kind of difficult to tell who's who whenever you're playing. And then you have that whole like dance around your cards and your characters. Like. But next we have some battle mech stuff. It's very interesting work here.
That's really cool. Yeah, I really like the stuff that Jay then does. Occasionally he'll pop up with a whole bunch of new awesome stuff to take a look at. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love their mech combat who are going to absolutely adore seeing these. I really like all the little details around the lenses and
the lenses look great.
And the way the cockpit has been picked out as well, with that extra little bit of colour to make it look see-through as well, is really awesome. And then, yes, some good block colours, lots of good wear and tear applied across the war, which I think is really cool as well. And,
I really like how I really like how the wear and tear is down at the bottom frame of the model, because it shows like that's where a lot of damage would be taken, maybe just from like actual walking through terrain,
walking past things and buildings, bumping into stuff.
Yeah, so it's a very nice attention to detail. Next we have some Blood and Plunder, I think. Hold on a second. AWI Colonial Militia. Got off Brigade Cames Kickstarter.
Yeah, so a little bit of American War of Independence stuff there, which is pretty awesome. And followed up by a samurai miniature from Perry, which is pretty cool. for a long gestating samurai army. You don't, we've been waiting for Lloyd to make a samurai army for about 5 years now. So don't worry, I think you're already ahead of him in that regard. So.
I really like the threading of that flag. It makes it look as if it's actually flowing in the wind.
Fluttering, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's a really nice sort of style of painting there. It has like kind of like reminiscent of like the Takeda clan, I think it is, that had the red armor. Although I might just be getting it all from Samurai Warriors and not going anywhere near history. But yeah, it's very cool.
It's alright, I get all my samurai stuff from the Tom Cruise movie.
Well, it's all about the white man savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here next we have Chaos Gorka, who's a machine when it comes to painting throughout the week.
It really is.
Some cool D&D stuff as well. I think. Hold on a second.
Wow.
This is for the first adventure. He really enjoyed the painting process, and they may have good seasons together. Fantastic work here.
This is absolutely amazing. And it makes me very jealous that I'm not getting to play D&D very much.
We've kind of just started in our group, and wrong there, full browser. Thank you. We've kind of just started playing some D&D in our kind of group. At the moment, I'm kind of in the middle of moving house, so it's I'm going through the motions of, do I have time for this? Do I not? Can I commit? Because whenever I want to play D&D, I really want to commit. Rather than just faffing around and playing one campaign and then forgetting about it completely. But having these kind of models, I feel like you've already got the painting done. Now you're indoctrined to playing some games.
That's the thing. Yeah. I think it pushes people a lot further towards actually wanting to play the game if you've got models for it and that kind of thing. Because even if you're not going to use them for a lot of stuff beyond sort of combat and that kind of stuff, you've got like a representation of your character, so you want to be able to do things. I really love the painting on not just the Dragonborn, that sort of bright blue skin there, which looks amazing. I love that. But I also like the way the tiefling's been done with that pink skin and stuff and the horns. Very cool.
Yeah.
I would imagine these are Reaper, perhaps. Maybe
they do look a little bit Reaper-esque. I gotta say as well, I know I've talked about the Theatre of Mind quite a bit, and we played first D&D session there quite recently with miniatures, and I mean it wasn't a great setup, but I remember seeing a lot of arguments against it. But I think it really helps the Theatre of Mind, even if it's just like paper and just a couple of miniatures.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to look good. It just gives you the range and scale of where things are.
Yeah, like we tend to do. I normally have a whiteboard, like a little whiteboard that sits in the middle of the table, and then I just draw on it with pens that can sort of rub off and stuff. So I'll just move them around as little circles on the tabletop and sort of draw the terrain out for them. But then occasionally, I built a couple of miniatures for some people. Last time we did a little bit of a sort of dungeon crawl style campaign, and so I just put the miniatures on the whiteboard instead, and then had the enemies represented by the circles. So it just sort of gives people an idea of scale and where people are and movement. So you don't have to keep so the players don't have to keep going, where am I again? All the time.
And just as Lord Sains has mentioned, these Romans look good. They do.
I believe we gave a golden button for one of them a couple of weeks ago, but it's really awesome to see more of this heroic 40mm Roman stuff done by Suetonius Plinius, because it shows off a lot of this, because you see on some of his 28mm models, he puts a lot of detail into the models, but sometimes it's a little hard to see. Whereas when you see his sort of grim look that he puts all his miniatures done on this larger scale, it's insane. It's really cool.
Yeah, really, really nice work. And he's doing some prep for the hobby weekend. I don't know if he's participating at home, but it'd be really lovely to see Andy again in the studio.
This is really interesting from Andy, because obviously when Andy normally comes to a boot camp, he doesn't do much of the gaming, and he does lots of the painting and modelling. Yeah. So if he comes to one that's all about hobby, is he going to do more gaming? I don't understand. Is he going to flip everything on its head? Do something else. It'd be crazy.
I don't know. Maybe he'll just bring out another like box game and be like, well,
I'm doing this today.
let's get to work, guys. But yeah, amazing work again. While it's not strictly painting related, I thought I'd mention I went to Holiday, went to Liverpool, and done some touristy things. They've even got a U-boat in Birkenhead.
Birkenhead?
Is this the one that we went to, Ben?
I didn't get to go to this.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Yeah, we did actually go to see this thing.
Lots of frost.
It was interesting. Not particularly for me, only because I didn't have very much interest in it. I had an interest in it in seeing like, oh, that'd be a really cool thing to go see. I've never seen one of these in the flesh. It'd be cool to walk through. You can't walk through it, unfortunately, but you can like see inside it and see the scales of like their sleeping bunks and things like that, and just the unbearable living situations and conditions that they were in. It's really, really interesting, but not worth the 2 hours that we spent there, I think, to be honest. But anyone who has an interest in it, I would highly recommend it. It is very interesting. It's just too long for me personally. But next up,
however, I will say that sometimes you can go to museums that you wouldn't think would be interesting, and actually it turns out they're pretty fun. Like I went to one because obviously, well, not a lot probably know, but I live in the Black Country in the middle of the West Midlands, and it's famous for its industry, so pottery and glass and that kind of thing. And we have a thing nearby where there's a large sort of like industrial area where called Iron Bridge, where you can go and see all the things that they used to do back in the day. And so we went to a China museum, and I thought this is going to be the most boring stuff I've ever seen. But it was absolutely fantastic, and I got to like make some china, which was really cool.
Wow,
and I make the molds and all kinds of stuff like that, and see all the way that it was all painted and things. So you never know. You never know.
Speaking of glassware and stuff, have you been watching Blown Away on Netflix, Ben?
I have not.
No, because I remember you watching the Great British Pot Off. Was it?
What's it called?
What is it?
Great Pottery Toss Off? No.
Yeah.
Throwdown. Throwdown.
Yeah, I remember you watching that, but I think this glass one, I think you really, really enjoy.
I'll have to check it out.
I look at glass a completely different way now.
I think I've seen it advertised in the top banner of Netflix, but I'll have to do it.
As Lord Sains as well says that you're missing out. It is fantastic. I don't like the judges, but in these kind of shows, I never like the judges. But like, it's so cool because if you watch Bake Off, Bake Off has that threat of like the cake burning.
Yeah.
Whereas whenever you're making glassware, you have that threat of I could severely burn myself and others.
Oh, yeah.
And if it smashes, I could also cut myself to a very deadly degree. So it's got that element. Whereas Bake Off, it has that same kind of like urgency and threat, but not as much as the glass blowing does.
Fair enough.
Continuing on, Centini is playing this fantastic Waterloo stuff as well. It's such variety in his work. Like we've seen Romans, and we've seen some 40k stuff, and now we have some Waterloo as well. The guy is constantly busy.
I really like the little cannonball on the ground there that's clearly smashed into somebody. And then this guy's just sort of casually walking past it. You know, I'm sure his friend's just been not actually blown to pieces, but he's just like, okay.
Just another day.
Just another day in Yorkshire.
Dogma, working on some cool colour schemes. That is very rockin', quite a bitchin' colour scheme looking there. I like it.
This is really cool because Dogma has been doing a lot of stuff with Space Marines on the Loyalist side of things that we'll see later, but it's really cool to see him looking to expand it and develop into a Chaos Space Marine. I will be very interested to see how that freehand work comes out on the armor. So. But I love orange. I love orange on Space Marines. I think it's a really cool choice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Dan Lee's Mythic Pantheon, Mythic Battles Pantheon. It's one of the few Mythic Battles Pantheon projects we have on the site. We don't see very much of it. I think it's just the intimidation factor. But
Yes.
these look great. Love to see if you continue on, finish up the bases. Let's see. But I love the rust on the shields. The skeletons look fantastic.
They do. They really do.
And these, I don't know, they're throwing bombs. They look like they're throwing oranges.
I think they're like pyromancers.
Ah, like Tim.
Yes.
Okay, let's fire through.
It's like throwing Greek fire.
We have quite a lot of pages to go through, so we're going to try and like blast through them pretty quickly. So next week we only have the projects to look at, and so on and forth. So we don't have a big backlog essentially. Next we have Hatman, British Line Infantry from Andy. As I said before, the guy's a machine. constantly working on all these cool little minis. They all have such character. He does really well with the faces as well, I think. Because the sculpt doesn't show very much, but I think what he does in his painting style, he really captures a decent amount of detail.
Yeah, very true.
And then we've got Test of Honor 2nd edition from Doug the Fug. I like what Doug the Fug's been working on here with the kind of the putting it on the box and photographing it on the box.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
It's just a nice little touch.
Yeah, I painted some night models range recently, and as a backdrop, I just used the front of the DVD cases for the different phases. Yeah.
What about I've been using the back of
Detail
a
out the
book.
models, which is really good. So.
I have a book at home
That's
which has
good
a
idea.
really nice gradient. It has no text on it. It just has a really nice like water effect gradient. I've been using that. Then we have Taurus that I think did we give a golden button to this? The 6mm works. Or
We did,
things?
yeah. We gave gold button to Taurus for those, yeah. A couple of weeks ago. Very cool to see that. There's been some more progress on that, I believe, as well. Which is good. So.
And skip to the end, we also gave away a prize talking about Battle of Colditz. Or maybe, did we? I think we talked about it at great length anyway last week.
Yeah, we talked about it in terms of the painting up and developing of the game beyond the the standard chits and stuff that you go in the game.
And then we have this fantastic build here from Rich Builds. This was a commission piece for a TV company, I think, and he's just added his own projects or his own terrain to the project, and some utterly fantastic things. I think he's built all of these little houses himself in the past as well. So Rich, he's full of talent. Little disappointed this road just ends so suddenly, but I think that's just part of the slate.
I think it's meant to sort of blend into that sort of larger barn style structure.
Yeah.
But it does look a little weird, doesn't it? But it'd be nice to see this like photographed in its entirety. If you know what I mean? Maybe there's some pictures later, but it would be really good to see this fully because I really like what it's been doing, especially with that sort of like windswept grass effect. Using a little bit of that teddy bear fur kind of thing going on.
Yeah, the fur.
And the river looks really cool. I love it as like a sort of murky stream sort of trickling through there.
That's a real looking river, isn't it? It's not a blue river. Yeah, fantastic work there from Rich Builds as well. And we have Yanis working on some old style ogres.
More ogres, you're loving them.
Mm-hmm. I love the boat. I mean, the boat is simple. Let's not say that it's not, but he's added such like color to it that it actually looks like something that's been like drenched in the swamplands.
Yeah, it's the little tinges of green in the bottom of the boat there that show that it's sort of been used a lot, and a little bit of moss and stuff has grown in there as it's been sort of left out in the weather and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And then this lady as well, fantastic. I love the blonde highlights. Really nice work on that.
It's really well done. Yeah. Catching the light just right there for the model. Which is good.
And Stinius Pillane is continuing on with his awesome kill team stuff for the hobby weekend. Man, I love the blood spatter on that chainsword.
That is really well done.
It is pretty terrifying to even have a thought. I find it weird how there's just always random skulls. There's never any other body parts. I find it very odd in GW that it's always just skulls. Like, I mean, there's a skull is about 10% of a human body skeleton. There's never seemingly anything else.
I'm going to put it down to there being very selective rats in the world that only really like falling on the bones.
Maybe.
And then eat the skull. I think. Yeah.
Maybe. Am I the only one to have noticed that recently?
Jerry says you do know that all guardsmen carry portable skulls. They can just so they can be deployed at a moment's notice. There you go.
Didn't I? No, didn't know that.
I wasn't that in depth into the 40k
Where do you keep them as well? Is this kind of like Skyrim where you can like carry like 96 watermelons in your pocket?
Yeah, you see that. The thing is, they're either the skulls of the enemy, or they're servitor skulls that have just broken and fallen apart. That's what I think they are, right? That's got to be.
The rest has been eaten by demons. Surely the skull would be the most succulent part as well. And surely, I know it's a prize, but why just leave the skull? You have a special skull bag. Oh, sorry. Okay, that explains it all. It's a little tiny pouch. Throw a skull in it, and it just disappears into the ether of this tiny bag.
That would be an absolutely amazing little conversion for a necromunda character. You do a little guy who's got a big bag and it's just full of skulls, and he's like tossing them out onto the table. So he goes around, sort of like, you know, how like in all action movies, there's always like a guy with an orange cart.
Yeah.
There's a guy with a bag of skulls.
There's not enough skulls here. Do you guys need any skulls? Got some skulls for you. Oh, you've got enough. Are you sure you don't need any more? No, mate, you got any kneecaps? Oh, sorry, let me have a look. No kneecaps, only skulls.
Got a couple of rib cages. Fresh in this morning.
So yeah, lovely thing. I'm sure we'll see tons of skulls as well in this like terrain, the 40k terrain that we're doing.
I'm fully expecting someone to clip out all the skulls from one of those big Games Workshop sprues and then just empty a bag of it onto the table. I think that's probably how it's going to work.
That's all I want to see now is I think we should do a massive push for because we have some awesome miniatures from like Rangers Shadow Deep kind of stuff that are just skeletons or Roman skeletons, stuff like that I've seen on the unboxings. I think we should just do a massive push to just bring back the rest of the skeleton body into your terrain.
Yes,
because what's the skull without the rest?
Yeah, exactly.
GW does sell a box of skulls in case you don't have enough.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's going to be cut up and thrown all over the table.
Where's the rest?
It's not just human skulls. They've got demon skulls and all sorts of things.
Where's the rest? Where's the rib cages?
They're an add-on pack.
Okay. Another box. It's in a different bag. The rib cage bag. So yeah, some amazing looking projects that we skimmed past. We're going through at some speed here, but I love this werewolf thing because it's like the fur is tearing through the flesh or his clothing.
They're called skin wolves, I think, in
skin wolves
in Warhammer Fantasy, because this is one of the old Forge World models that sadly they don't make anymore.
Wow. And then I think last week my voice is breaking. I'm sorry, this is what Hobby Hangout does to me. So you're going to have to deal with this sultry tone of breaking my voice now.
Just like Phoebe from Friends when she's got a cold.
Yeah. But we looked at 42's project last week. I think we give a community spotlight to that. Some fantastic work. Absolutely amazing. Love it. Skimming past BOWASMR. Yeah. I've got a proper microphone too, so maybe we'll do that after dark for you. Dark Vernon working on some cool looking burrows and badgers. What I love especially about this image is he's got his color chart in the background. I think everyone should have a color chart, not like doesn't have to be printed out, but it should always be in the back of your mind just to find out like what the complementary colors are, what opposite colors are, etc. It's a fantastic little piece.
And this is exactly how you should paint most bad miniatures. Do all the fur work first, because otherwise it'll be a pain in the ass to try and get right. Because you've got to do a lot of dry brushing and that kind of thing, and highlighting and stuff, and you don't want to get it all over the stuff you already painted. So do the fur first.
I think that's I'm kind of looking forward to whenever we move to the new house. Is getting some burrows and badgers and actually getting a proper game of it. Because at the minute I've just been kind of collecting them because they're kind of cool looking things, but I think I might actually get the book and see if anyone will be interested in playing. Because
well, next time I'm over, I will definitely play again. So there you go.
Yeah. Is it a lot of dice rolling, Ben?
I
hope it's not, because that's what really throws me off.
Not really.
Okay.
One dice roll effectively resolves everything in an action. So,
awesome. Because I'd really like a lot of theme towards games rather than dice rolling. But next we have Hogan's Heroes, the Feldwebel Schultz from Stoessi's Heroes.
Feldwebel Hans Georg Schultz Meldet Sitzundainsk. I'm sure I'm going to get told that that's totally wrong.
I gotta say that the cloth work on this is fantastic. Even the peachy, I don't want to say ham, but the ham-looking little cheeks, the wee gammon cheeks, they're so cute.
Very good. I love that he looks like he's rolling his eyes as well.
He does.
Like,
he does.
God.
Not again. It does look as if he's just been like pulled away from his breakfast. He's like, come here, come quick. I'm like, oh, cannot wait. That's a fantastic looking little mini, and the base, it really pops off the base as well, I think. I'm just looking through the comments as I scroll down here. I think Sundancer's busy this weekend with family work, so that's maybe where he's at, or maybe he's lurking in the background. Void Witch from Relic Knights. It's been a while since we've seen some Relic Knights, but that looks really nice.
Well, they are starting to bring out a few new models now and again, but they are very big, larger than life models. A lot of people have had a lot of fun painting.
Mm-hmm.
They've got that kind of like crazy anime manga style vibe that a lot of the Infinity stuff has, but sort of tuned up to 11 effectively. Yeah.
I feel like it would do is good substitute characters for Kingdom Death if you just want almost like a cheaper version, because I know Kingdom Death it's very, very expensive, but you're paying for quality, whereas Relic Knights I think would be a really nice substitute, because this here thing, I can see this working in Kingdom Death no problem. Soldado's been working on his Night Stalkers for the Kings of War 3rd edition, which has actually just been released or announced.
Well, yeah, it's going to be coming out later this year, but it's looking very good. We've got a little bit of a preview of some of the pages from the book in the news right now, so
cool. Get
your armies ready for that. Sounds like it's been pretty well tweaked and changed, and it's now got a new world name and everything like that called Panathor. So,
so it's not Mantica anymore.
It's not called Mantica anymore. It's now called Panathor, which was a little bit of a question on Twitter. I was like, "What the hell's Panathor?" I was like, "Oh, it's the new name for the Kings of War." But just so you know,
Panathor sounds pretty cool. Sounds like an actual world. Mantica just sounds. I don't know. I suppose it would work if the company wasn't called Mantic.
Yeah.
But yeah, working on some Spanish churches from Charlie Foxtrot, from Mellet 68. Really nice work there. I just realized that I think we've got this community spotlight wrong on this, because he's put in 2 T's, so he may have misspelled. I will fix that up if I can find that in the whenever we next do the community spotlight. Apologies for that, Mellet, but I appreciate the humor in that. I think that's pretty funny in that. And then Jana's been working on some awesome looking camouflage work. I saw this. She posted this on her Facebook group, and it was a fantastic little piece. Really nice
Oh
work.
God, I hope they got rid of Manticore altogether. But it says that Jerry says Manticore is the continent.
Oh,
Don't make that the case. Don't. What? No, just get rid of it.
could Mantica not just be like the folklore names?
Some folk used to call it Mantica, but that was a terrible name, so they wiped it out. It sounds terrible, Jerry.
There's some really nice werewolf stuff here. Coming out the skin tones on these, very terrifying looking. This looks like a. Is this a Kings of War thing as well? With
I
the
think they're Kings of War werewolves,
yeah, I only say that because of the base size. I know Kings of War is all about base size on it, which I think is really good if you just don't want to paint mini models. And then we have McGuff Mog. We'll come back to this at some point, but he has a fantastic work here. That bike is looking excellent. My days, it's a very Infinity inspired. I know it is Infinity, works really well, but I feel like he's been taking a page out of Angel's book and working on that. Maybe I feel like it's his own style though. Very, very nice.
Kasim Beg, that's the guy's name. I don't know that.
I even love the dirt.
We'll see more of that later.
Smudges on the bike wheel as well. Next we have Laughing Boy, who will be streaming with us alongside the weekend, the 40k weekend, but he's working here on some cool looking Necron armies. I really like the idea of the Necrons having the little plastic see-through thing. Really adds that element of colour to the armies. I think he's done a really nice job here as well. Like that metal looking feel. I don't know if he's painted with like certain metals, but very nice like differentiation between colour in these. Really nice. Like, and there's lots of images as well to go through, so he's been done tons of work.
Very, very cool stuff. Really like the Necrons are a nice, easy army to sort of build up and play with really quickly. I think it's really good. They allow to play around with a lot more sort of bright colours nowadays as well.
The very Egyptian
styles of Necron.
Looking at these things.
Yes. Yeah. I would like the idea of doing them with that kind of like cross between sort of that beetle blue and gold across the range. I think that would be really interesting. It really cool if you really wanted to push forward that.
Now we have the I forget what you call these things. It's by a Sun James anyway. The insect things. Completely.
Yes.
Thank you. All I had in my head was Necrons. And they were like, no lads, they're not Necrons. The previous things were Necrons. Tyranids. Tyranids look fantastic. We spoke about that last week. Give out a community spotlight to James. So well done. Some cool looking Warhammer stuff as well. And speaking of Warhammer, Mr. Thomas Menes is in the studio right now. He's going to be going through some cool looking conversion workshops, or conversion clinics, I believe Warren's been calling them, for the 40k weekend. If anyone wants to have any cool tips or any suggestions want to see, feel free to comment in the 40k threads, and through the weekend he'll do his best to aid any questions as well.
Yeah, so those are FunTRS War Machine jacks and stuff that we're seeing there, which is cool.
And Andy's working along with this Korea stuff.
Some more Korean stuff,
camel.
some cool troops. Very nice stuff. It's been good seeing what the guys at Warlord have been doing for Korea. I think we talked about the new British Commonwealth and the Chinese stuff on the last weekend. So on Saturday last weekend, which was pretty cool to see. It'd be nice to see where it sort of develops going forward as well.
Apologies if I maybe said Warhammer instead of Privateer Press. Too many comedies going through my head this week. But yeah. Some cool looking models for Gloomhaven. Are these spoilers? I hope they're not.
They are spoilers.
Oh
so
no!
If you didn't want to know what these characters were.
Oh well. And then Shingen has this fantastic looking terrain which we gave away a spotlight last week. And there's my model. Oh my days! I forgot I painted this.
So that's the real reason you wanted to go through what you painted now, Fred.
I have to paint up the rest now because I just painted this guy and then I just thought, well, that's that done. That's all I wanted to paint. One thing I'll say as well, I played the game of Night Bolt with these guys and they were a lot less interesting than I thought they would be on the game, but maybe I just played them wrong, but because I couldn't get any objectives at all. I think
maybe
I still
one of those expert level warband.
Maybe I think I preferred the Skaven still. Maybe a couple of more games. We'll see how it plays. And then we have Andy's awesome looking Korea stuff as well, folding up.
Toughy Ears says, "Oh my God, Lance painted something. I need to sit down now."
Yeah, I paint quite a lot of things. I don't post it that often. That's the issue. Because I don't know. I think I'm just like I should be posting it a lot because I'm a Taurus, so I should be like, look at my stuff.
Over on YouTube, Ralph Holmes said that Jan's miniature is from the Kickstarter done for Ultramodern Combat, and they have a picture of her painting it on the SitRep YouTube channel. So there you go. If you want to go and find that, you can go and delve into that one. So,
I love this little guy from Stoessis Heroes from Shoop. Only because like the paint scheme, wrong thing there, Lance. Well done. The paint scheme doesn't look overly complicated, and there's not many colors in it. But what he's achieved is some fantastic looking
yeah, there's a nice nuance to it.
Yeah. Like it's really good shading, like the pinstripe down the trouser leg. I say pinstripe, the iron cloth. Really, really nicely done. Even on the weapon, nice little like shine of the metal. And the shirt isn't too everything is just really nicely done.
Yeah, Stoessis Heroes do some really nice models, and it's actually good to see some of them painted up because we don't tend to see that because a lot of them we just see in the news in their sort of metal form.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them get to that next stage and be sort of painted up by some of the community members. We talked about some more Stoessis Heroes releases on the weekend of this week as well. There's
Awesome.
some very larger than life stories, so if you want to hear those recounted by me in very redacted form, go check that out. So.
This is a very bold color scheme here from Razer. These cream-looking Nurgle units.
Oh yeah.
It'd be very interesting to see how they turn out. And here we have Krotworks, more little Kling and Schultz from Stoessis Heroes. Yeah, I feel like Stoessis Heroes do some really good miniatures, but I haven't seen very many. They don't have very much clout, is it? You would say? Haven't.
I think they're one of those companies that gets a lot of people buy them up and then mix them in with a lot of their other armies. So you'll see a lot of the characters picked up and then used as heroes or squad leaders and stuff. Games like Alt Action and things. So.
Yeah. I gotta say though that this little piece of train diorama looks fantastic. Like breaking through the fence.
Oh,
really
that's so good.
Brings so much drama to it. Really, really nice. I really like that.
I do love myself a winter battlefield. So.
I don't. I'm not a fan of the winter stuff. But I can appreciate that one. That was really good.
It's because we always just see some green.
I want to see more awesome stuff. That's what I want to see.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I want to see more orangey terrain come through the battlefield. Next we have Necromunda. No, Space Marines, I think.
So there's Space Hulk stuff.
Space Hulk.
From Dr. Ether, also known as Chris Handley. So.
I believe this is all painted in contrast paint as well, except for the top highlights, I think.
Finished contrast paint 2014 Space Hulk box. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that level of detail out of the contrast paints. That's really good.
I saw his comment on another thread that, considering the amount of effort that it took, highly recommend the contrast paint for stuff like that, and especially for those Tyranids? No.
Yeah, they're fighting against Tyranids there. It's Space Marine Terminators versus Tyranid Genius.
Yeah. Especially on Tyranids and Nurgle models, fantastic use.
Anything called Tyranid, I think, bodes well with
Yeah.
Well, bind as well. Sorry, with the contrast points.
But he's also done a fantastic job in the Space Marines as well. So I think maybe more care would need to be taken with the armory stuff. But yeah, more Relic Knights. I'm trying to show this off, but also not like because in case we get in trouble with Twitch. Who knows what will come of it. But yeah, really nice work there. Look at the freehand work on this though.
Oh,
my
crikey,
days.
O'Reilly. And you know, I was saying how I was worried about the freehand work that was going to have to be done on those Chaos Space Marines. Well, now I'm not so worried now. So.
Yeah, that's really nice freehand work. If you look at it from what do you call it? What do you call it? Shapes, geometric. If you look at it from a geometric standpoint, it's a lot of like squares. You can easily pinpoint like shapes very easily, and if you do that, it doesn't seem as intimidating, and you get such a good result, such as this. Because the freehand is really impressive, really, really nice work. But if you bring it down to like a base level, I think anyone could really do the same results if they really tried. Because this is such a cool idea. Like red to yellow base layer. There's a lot more colors than that though. And then you have the middle foreground area of the buildings, and then you have the lightning as the topmost. Really nice work.
Right. I love that at the end of this he says, just to properly annoy me at the end, my spray varnish started to cross up on these models. If you look closer, you can see some lucky bits. A split second of pure Hulk-like rage crossed my face when I noticed. But then I became very zen, didn't launch the whole lot across the garden. Be proud of me.
I mean, I don't see any issue with the spray on that.
Yeah, I don't notice it too much. And these are pretty close up there. I can see it a little bit on the back of the guy with the sword, the power sword.
Just a little bit, but
it's not too bad.
I mean, I wouldn't care if I saw these on the tabletop. I'd be like, that looks amazing. Look at that freehand work. Holy.
Holy bejesus.
Here we have some cool looking Fallout stuff. This is interesting. I've never seen a blue, whatever these things are called.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played Fallout now.
Death claws and feral ghouls at the bottom there. Very cool.
It almost looks like they're pets of this Fallout adventure.
Yeah, he's hacked the game code and turned them into NPC characters to follow him around.
And probably using the GW or the contrast paints on these kind of ghoul-looking creatures works really well for the ghouls as well.
Makes them look properly irradiated, which is what you want. So
exactly, yeah. It almost looks like it's like the bone structure is glowing. Maybe that's why I'll finally paint up my my Walking Dead guys.
Yeah, you break up the contrast paints and finish them all off.
Yeah. My issue with them though is I've never wanted to paint them as zombies. I wanted to paint them as like Scooby-Doo ghouls, like bright green,
right? Yeah.
Terrifying looking.
That'd be cool. I think that would work nicely.
Find
it's your game. Do with it what you will. So.
This is a Foldio light box. The whole thing folds flat and is held together by magnets. The light can be attached to magnets several ways. So far, very easy to use, and it even holds an entire building. That's kind of cool.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, that works really well.
Wonder how much that costs.
A Foldio light box. So I assume if you like Google it, you find out.
I'm gonna give it a Google.
Give it a Google. Give it a good old Google. I don't think it'd be that much. I'd say about 20 quid.
Cook's on Gold says £150. What does Amazon say?
Finish Amazon. Up Barbarian miniature 3D rogue print. That is a very good print for a 3D. That's a very good rogue for a 3D print.
Amazon says a lot less at £10. That's
it was the second edition full deal. It was a Kickstarter.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
It's good that it folds flat.
So you can store it away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good 3D print actually of this. A really nice paint job as well. On this cool looking guy. Argonauts painted for Mythic Battles Pantheon. I love the colours in this. Really vibrant.
Now you see, while these are fantasy miniatures, I'd drop these into a little bit of SPQR, perhaps. Maybe use them as sort of larger than life characters could be kind of interesting.
They be commanders because they they have this roughly the same size of base anyway as like commanders and SPQR, I think. Just a little bit bigger scale.
Don't like historical versions of them. But,
no,
still,
but
kind of.
it'd be just a nice way to differentiate, I think. But yeah, I agree with that. That'd be kind of cool to see. Laughing Boy finishing up with contrast paints. And he did this in an hour with the contrast paints.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty incredible for just an hour's work.
Considering that model normally would probably take a good few hours, plus then you've got to let it dry and do the washing and the hard.
Hours, Ben? Give me a couple of months.
Well, yeah.
That's my time frame.
All
right.
Jerry says basing is irrelevant to that pure, so anything is fine. That's good.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Bob Cocaine, he's been still working on his Flames of War, I think, the US Paras from Boot Camp.
Very good.
Some nice looking work here.
As someone from Battlefront was saying, they've been looking through all the projects and stuff we listed for the Hobby Weekend and not for the Hobby Weekend, for the Hobby League, and they've been sort of getting lost in the reams of stuff that people have been doing. So that's pretty cool.
And have Dr. Ether and his this is an update, the Lion Knight for Kingdom Death.
Finishing the Lion Knight, yeah.
That is a really nice gold. I really like his gold. The green and the gold really compare really nicely.
It really does work nicely.
And then we have Dogma's Space Wolves, which we will look at a little bit later.
They're not Space Wolves.
Sorry.
They just have very similar. I made the same mistake. I thought, it's like a grey blue. They must be Space Wolves, but they're not Space Wolves. So.
I always associate Space Wolves with giant claws.
Well, I mean, that's not wrong.
And then we have this little guy as well.
There's another guy from
and there's so much character in that. I love the little enamel cup as well. Like you can tell that's a little enamel piece. By Shoop 77.
The WG miniatures from the HQ Blister. There you go. Very British, yes. Very British indeed.
Oh, Robert says that Ollie P's project has been on the front page of Battlefront Flames of War website. That is
very
really cool. Yeah. It's nice to see that other people's work are getting the attention they deserve.
Yes.
And then Chaos Gorka has finally finished up with this wave of toy stuff. To ow.
Yeah.
Really kind of jealous that this was a commission and not his. I would also be jealous. I am also jealous that this is someone else's miniatures and not mine, because these toys look amazing. I really, really, really would love to see how these look under a dark light.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, put these on the terrain out there and have a dark light over it? They would glow something serious.
They would. Yeah.
That would be so cool to see. Like, that colour of the blue and the bright orange would really shine.
It would look amazing.
And no one could complain and be like, where's my miniatures?
Yeah, you wouldn't lose them.
No. And then we have some like cute little cobblestone casting 10mm fantasy from Robert.
These are amazing. I love these.
They're so tiny.
Well, because I have been thinking that it'd be nice to do like a mass battle game, but I don't really want to have to paint like a 28mm army again. So I'm very much considering the idea of painting in like a smaller scale and maybe doing something from what are they called? Pendragon, doing some stuff from the guys at Pendragon and taking one of their little 10mm army sets or something. So finding the old War Master rules somewhere online and playing their own game, that could be kind of good. But, very cool looking miniatures.
Sorry Ben, I'm just having fun here.
They even get even better in 15 mil when you put the Germans from Battlefield. That's good. Are you marching the balls around up there? Yes, yeah. Oh dear.
I gotta pass my time somehow, man. Yeah, amazing little pieces.
Oh, dear.
Really like them. Then we have Robert's Battlefront Germans, 15mm as well.
Another very cool looking set. Very good.
I mean, I could do the same with these guys, have them march around as well, but it wouldn't be as entertaining.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Jerry. He's just given me a link to the War Master rulebook. Perfect. I will download that immediately.
I gotta say, the terrain looks really nice on these. Like, really, really vibrant on them. And we have Gothmog. We will just ignore that as well. Just a little moment. And we have the Metal One. What a cool look! What a cool name, the Metal One. I don't know what this is from. Not really sure.
The Metal One. Let's look at it.
Oh, it's the Nulzur's Troll, and then the medic from Astra Militarum. Next is Reaper Bones Formian Giant. That giant is really terrifying looking with the bigger
That
leg.
is really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost definitely mutated, but I don't know if I would call it a giant. Just an abomination. That would be the word I'd describe for that. Then Razors, as I said earlier, it was a very bold statement with the cream colour for the Nurgle army, but he's made it work, and that looks great. The slight tint of purple for the flesh really gives off that decaying look.
It really does. It's very good.
The cream doesn't even look like cream. It looks kind of almost gold like. Really, really nice work on that. Really
It's a
cool.
good variation on the sort of old school Death Guard colour scheme.
Now we have Sutinius Polinis was the Warsaw 44. Man, that
So-
camo work is really, really something.
Yeah, so these came from Infamous JT and his Kickstarter we did. I think it was last year, I want to say. Not entirely sure, but he did some really fascinating miniatures, all based around the idea of Warsaw and sort of the fights that took place there. And so he did a lot of reference photo stuff. So he took a lot of the photos and then made characters based on those.
That's
So,
really cool.
yeah, a little bit like what Sturcy's Heroes do with their range.
And Andre's been working on his Horse Heresy stuff. Or, yeah, Horse Heresy.
World Eaters for the Horus Heresy, where they still liked blood, but they could show it off on their white armor. So
Getting some games on. That train looks pretty cool, actually. That looks like the cardboard fold stuff with the
it does, yeah.
plastic tops on them. Nice work.
They are old Adeptus Titanicus buildings.
And then we have some really cool stuff from Dead Zone from Loner as well. I think Loner's going to be joining us this weekend, actually.
Very cool.
That's a really nice blend, the blue and the purple there on that. That was really nice.
Really is very good.
Okay, I think we're going to leave it off at that. We'll end up spending all day with... but we do have a community spotlight that will finish off the thing here. So if I switch to our screens here, and Ben will talk us about the latest delight of his day. What have you been up to today, Ben?
What have I been doing today? I have been trying to paint. Well, I haven't been doing it today yet because obviously I've been working very hard. But but yesterday I was starting to paint up Thor from the Old Man Miniatures range. So maybe you could see him. I don't know. Been doing the cape and some of the silver, and I just need to work out how to paint the black without it looking terrible. And he will join the rest of my Marvel characters from the Night Models range.
Cool.
For me to then ogle out and go, I wish Crisis Protocol was out. So I can play Crisis Protocol.
So have you been looking through the rules of this
Yes.
new Marvel game? Do you think it's going to be a winner?
I think, as a little teaser, because I've got a preview coming out later today, I think it could be very good. There might be a little bit of a barrier to begin with, because a lot of symbology in there. And there's, a little bit of interesting sort of mix in the mechanics about how you're going to use power and how that works and the way that heroes and villains are balanced against each other using the threat values. But I think for want of a Marvel game for tabletop, I think it could be a pretty cool entry level thing for a lot of people to get stuck into tabletop games.
Cool.
As well as that, there's the card game coming out as well. But I'm really interested. I think it'd be good to see what they do with it.
Yes.
I'll talk about it in more detail later, obviously, as an article. But they've got some loads of game modes and stuff coming out for it, which would be cool. But I am excited, reserved, because obviously you should be with every new release.
Yeah.
But I should be looking forward to seeing it come out.
Awesome. Okay, so finishing off the Hobby Hangout for today, we have the Community Spotlight, which we give away every week as a little reward from On Tabletop.
A little thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. When I say that, we really need to update the badges to say On Tabletop.
Yeah, really good.
But anyway, a nice little back call to what we used to be. But here we have the Death Strike Space Marines from Dogma, and we saw these earlier. Fantastic looking work here. If the image would load, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a really awesome looking. Over the years, I believe he's got it to the point now where the army is 119 models strong.
Oh my days.
There's a link further down in the coverage of his this here where he actually goes into actually I haven't put the link in, which I will sort out for later because but there is a link to his blog where he looks at this army in a lot more detail, giving us lots of interesting sort of in-depth accounts of how the chapter came to be and all the different models he's been painting up. But I thought this was a really nice sort of look back at some classic Space Marines, some slightly newer ones with the Primaris, some of his vehicles, all kinds of things like that. I believe we even gave a little bit of props for something a little while ago when we painted up a land speeder, like a classic old style land speeder from back in the day for these Space Marines. But an absolutely stunning looking army, and photographed really nicely as well. As well as it being done on backdrops, as you can see for the Primaris there, the sort of like a standard one that you'd normally see for sort of showing painted miniatures. He's also done them in sort of in situ on a board with the background behind it as well, and that's the kind of thing that I love seeing, because it's the thing that back in the day, when I saw it in White Dwarf and all the other magazines and on blogs and that kind of thing, was the thing that drew me towards playing games.
Yeah,
like
because this
so.
this no longer looks like a miniature model. This looks like an actual piece that you'd see in the battlefield.
Yeah,
this looks like something you'd see in the movies.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
and just about in time for all the new stuff coming out for the Space Marines in the next week or so, which will be pretty interesting. Been a lot of people talking about those and what's happening with there, but there's a really cool video that the guys at the Games Workshop put out, which is about looking back in the sort of retrospective at Space Marines and when people were first introduced to what they were and sort of being drawn into the 40k world, and when they were talking about like how cool Space Marines are and that iconic image of what they are and that kind of thing, regardless of the fact that we see them in such huge amounts nowadays on the tabletop, and they can be a little bit of fatiguing, but I was like, man, yeah, Space Marines in reality are pretty badass. When you think about it, they're an indoctrinated, zealous warrior knight monk / thing that is out there to basically destroy everything and protect humanity. and they are humans, but not humans at the same time, because they're so big and different from normal human. So yeah, really cool models, and you can understand why so many people paint them up for their arms in 40k.
Did he do the stripes on the helmets for them? Where on the helmets? Is just the yellow strip? I would assume so.
I believe he did paint those yellow strips in the back of the
helmet. These maybe? Yeah.
He's done it on the beaky as well. I mean, he does a lot of freehand on the rest of the model, so I would assume he's done the stripes there for the beaky.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have the Mossbeard by Chaos Gorka. Fantastic looking model as well. That look of redwood rather than like the leather brown wood you'd usually see. Really nice different colours in this, and like it really stands off, especially with all that flocking he's done in the creases as well.
Because this is the thing for me, because when I was looking through a lot of the stuff, I was like, you know what, actually probably about time to give Chaos Scorpion the golden button, because he's definitely earned it. And I was looking through a lot of the stuff, and obviously those D&D miniatures were looking really nice, that kind of thing. But then I saw this, and I've got a little bit of a penchant for liking wild stuff at the moment. And so when I saw this, I was absolutely blown away. As you say, the work on that red wood and that sort of darker tone mixed with the lighter one was really nice. that glow from within the eyes is really cool as well. And then the way that the stuff that would normally be reserved for bases has been mixed into the rest of the model is just really nicely done. And it sort of sits in places where moisture wouldn't gather, which I think is really cool. But yeah, absolutely stunning miniature. Painted really, really.
I really like as well that he's choosing to highlight. Nothing isn't complete white here, because why would it? But he's choosing to highlight very specific areas, like just this bit of the beard and then top of the like. I don't know what it would be called, the crown of the head. Very, very specific areas, mostly due to the glow of certain bulbs and things that are on the tree. But yeah, really, really nice work. And lastly, we have my Gothmog with that fantastic looking Kasim Beg bike rider.
Yeah, so I'm fairly sure in the last image that was put out for this that I pulled these from, he said he was adding a little bit of extra detail work into the and things like that. As far as I can tell, this is pretty damn well finished for me. Like, yeah. If I'd gone to that stage, I'd be pretty damn happy with it. But yeah, again, really nice seeing the way that the armor's come across, and the non-metallic metal work on the back of the bike as well is really cool. Really nice shading across that, which gives it that comic book anime feel that we talked about before. Really good work on the skin tones, pulling out all the stuff like the veins and the scars on his face, and the facial details as well are really nice to see. And a great model that is well framed by the basic material as well. I'm sure there's going to be a bit more to it as well going forward, but overall, very cool looking model and well deserving, I'd say.
The chrome work alone, I think, really, really nice work.
It is.
And then that skin tone, as you said, really, really cool. Really defines the muscle groups and stuff.
It really is.
Anyway, I think we're going to head on before my voice breaks completely, and we'll have to get someone else to join in instead and host it. But thank you very much for joining us this week on Hobby Hangout. Join us on Friday from 5 p.m. We will be live streaming the 40k weekend, the hobby weekend, which you'll see hopefully maybe some games actually being played on that large apocalypse table that we've been putting out. If you want to join in, feel free to come across to ontabletop.com and create your own project. Click here in the project system. There is a little tag that you can, whenever you add a project, down at the bottom, you put in here my 40k awesome project. Spell it right. Lads rules. Okay, 2019 XO. That is your cool name. Put in your project type, project genre, project status, visibility, etc., and a little description. But down here at the very bottom, the related context, if you put in the hobby weekend, you will be in a chance for your project to be shown off during the weekend. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next week with Chris from Battlefront Miniatures talking about the Flames of War Slow Grow League. That is quite the tongue twister. Thank you very much, Ben.
No worries.
I'll catch you later. Bye, everyone. Broke my ears.